by Nerdboxer Media. Nerdboxer was created to provide a platform and voice for Black intellectual males, particularly biological fathers. Though our content is aimed at Black males, we produce content that anyone could listen to. If there is an issue with us promoting a positive message to the Black American male, this is not the podcast for you. We will not ever entertain the idea of changing that stance. This podcast will have intervals of dialogue provided by myself and the smooth sounds of chill hop music. Proper credits for the music is located in the comments. That being said, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen.
And the community nerd box is gonna be right where you are. We're helping people find jobs. Yeah. Education's a must, but so is working. Everybody gotta work. So Nerdbox Up presents to you. Yeah. Nerdbox, yeah. Nerdbox, yeah. Incorporated. Nerdbox, yeah. Nerdbox, yeah.
That is the sounds of my man, Antrell Roberts. Thank you very much, brother. You know I appreciate it. You helping me take this podcast to another level. Can't thank you enough. I want to first take some time to thank all of those who took the time to listen and give me the feedback I needed to bring you this next show. It was really appreciated, and I can't thank you enough. Ray McGee, author of the newly released book, So Frail 2, Toxic Femininity, as well as the first of the series, So Frail, A Reality to Black Male Masculinity, and the book Hitting It Raw, which details how to implement a plant-based diet in your lifestyle. These books are available on bookbaby.com, Amazon, and Barnes & Noble. Also a shout out to Jerome and his lovely wife over at Petals from a Black Rose, makers of handcrafted soap, body butters, lip balms, beard conditioners, and more. They also have dog products such as sprays, paw, nose, and elbow balms, and dog powder. They are located in North Ridgefield, Ohio, and Mr. Jerome is a good man to do business with. Khalil, founder and CEO of System Fresh Consulting, experts in business evolution. They have a website at systemfreshconsulting.com. You can also follow him on Instagram at Khalil_the_brand. Khalil the brand on Instagram. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Mr. Know-It-All Rants. He was kind enough to give me some constructive and appreciative feedback, but on a deeper level that gave me a better understanding of how to present this next show. Also, a shout out to Mr. Palmer, Bishop Brooks, Tony Mack, Keith, aka Dork Chocolate, aka Mr. Enneagram himself, and everyone else who took the time to listen. Just a quick recap on the last show. We spoke about who we are and what we aim to bring to the world of podcasting. If at any time you lose track of what we're doing here, you can always go back to the first episode to get yourself mentally reset. The passing of Nipsey Hussle was spoken on, still tough to believe. I hope all the drama around it will cease in the near future, because truth be told, the family is still grieving. Maturity and accountability were also two things we spoke on that first show. But in today's show, we're going to talk about the word condescending and the people who live that life. We're also going to do some small business advertising highlights. We're going to get into Ray McGee's book, So Frail 2, Toxic Femininity. We're going to have a little bit of a health talk and give you guys a money tip. Y'all ready? Let's go. The first track we're going to listen to today is by Smuv, SMUV, and the track is called Heaven. You can find it on SoundCloud. Once again, everybody, that track was called Heaven by a producer by the name of Smuv, SMUV. The Nerd Boxer word of the day today is condescending. We recently did a piece on the 1 minute of wisdom. Check it out. What's going on, y'all? It's Knowledge Rise with the 1 minute of wisdom. Condescending, having or showing a feeling of patronizing superiority. Synonyms include superior, snobbish, snobby, scornful, or disdainful. A person who is condescending does not listen. They allow you to speak while harboring an objective and in many cases combative attitude towards you. A condescending person is the worst type of leader. They cause disruption, low productivity, and eventually conflict. A condescending person in the customer service industry causes companies to lose customers. A child who feels their parents are condescending will start to rebel and even disrespect their parents. Condescending behavior isn't limited to those with money. Poor people who feel you have to irresponsibly struggle to earn respect foolishly embrace this habit. A condescending attitude is a sign of weakness and/or internal struggle to maintain higher self-esteem. This is Knowledge Rise with 1 minute of wisdom. Visit nerdboxer.com. Yes, condescending people. We have all dealt with it at some point in our lives, work, school, family, and with strangers. And I'm certain the vast majority of us have been condescending towards someone at some point in time, whether unknowingly or deliberately. These type of people have ruined some of our best workplaces, partnerships, friendships, marriages, communities, you name it. The condescending individual has spread their poison in ways that have creeped into our culture as people. I myself, I can admit, I've been that person on many occasions. My root cause was delusions of grandeur, which is actually something we're going to speak on next week in our third podcast. But yes, I was delusional about my level of intelligence and probably have said some pretty ignorant things to people. You know what? Scratch that. I know I've said some ridiculous things in the past, put people down for no reason, and even worse, I'll learn later that I had no clue what I was talking about in a lot of those cases. That's just the truth. But for others who have not had the pleasure of having to deal with my mess, you've probably had some really rough days because you were connected to this type of person. As a man today, I can tell you that you deal with it simply because you're a man. You can find yourself having to listen to complaints about how men treat women so bad, and all you were doing were asking simple questions. This type of person is commonly found in politics, social media, and in the nightlife. Those three thrive on that kind of energy. I'm still dealing with my own mess, to be honest, and in regard to my condescending mindset in the past, I don't have a definite solution going forward. But I will say, you should ask yourself 3 questions if you think you've been condescending in the past, or you plan to be. Did the person ask for that? Does it bring you inner peace? Do you think that type of behavior deserves respect? If the answer is no, it's you that has a problem. Just saying. Up next, we got a track called Do You Know by Lui T, spelled L-U-I-T. This can also be found on SoundCloud. Let's get it. again, that was Do You Know by Lui T. It can be found on SoundCloud. Up next, I want to talk about the advertising plans we have for the future here at Nerdboxer Media, in particular here on the podcast. I have been approached a few times about having advertisements on the show. I do know advertisements bring in revenue. However, I do not want this podcast to become what YouTube has become, an ad every 5 minutes dealing with things nobody cares about, nor will we ever be interested in it. Though we are willing to advertise on our other platforms, we want our podcast to maintain a smooth and relevant vibe. That being said, we are willing to promote your business, service, and or product for a one-time fee of $20. That will get you up to 2 minutes of us explaining what you provide and where people can purchase or acquire your services. We will add you to our network of companies and businesses. We will promote your business on our social media pages in the future. Ask for details. We can tailor the delivery to your needs, meaning 1 2-minute segment or 1 minute segments in 2 shows consecutively. If you're interested in collaborating with us in this effort and want us to get a bit more involved, reach out to us at hr@nerdboxer.com so that we may better assist you. Best of all, your ads are in our show for life. We will also make reasonable updates to the contact information in the future if things change for you. In addition to that, we are able to create your advertisements if you would like us to, add narratives, video editing, etc., and adding information you have, but maybe you're not too comfortable with doing so. We will record the audio. Basic video editing will also be applied if needed. And we will also plug you, the business, to all of your potential customers the best way we know how. We are affiliated with a few influential people online. But best of all, we add initiative. We take the time to look for your customers and provide them with the information that you want them to know, as well as how they can best get in contact with you. We have a limited number of these spots in the future on each show, so please contact us at hr@nerdboxer.com if you have any questions. Speaking of advertisements, it is time that we introduce the world to Petals from a Black Rose, led by a man and his wife by the names of Jerome and Lachelle. This is someone I've been following for a while on Instagram, and I've just recently made my first purchase from Jerome, and I've been in close contact with him. And I'm patiently waiting on that order, and I just got confirmation today that it will be on its way shortly. Judging by the comments on their website, everyone is more than satisfied with what they've received so far. Here's some of the quotes from paying customers. I love this soap. I love every soap and lotion I have bought from Petals from a Black Rose. I have very sensitive skin, so I'm always looking for natural products. These products smell and feel amazing on my skin. I will definitely be buying from them in the future. Another person said, 5+ stars. A pleasure doing business with these folks. Great product, awesome communication, and super fast ship. Thank you so much. Will definitely be a repeat customer. Another customer said, great customer service, communication, and super fast shipping. The prices were so reasonable too. I'll definitely order again. It's pretty clear that this husband and wife combination is doing what they need to do in the realm of business and delivering a great product. Just reading these comments has me even more anxious, and I just can't wait to get my hands on that order. I invite you guys to visit their website, Etsy, spelled etsy.com/shop/petals from a black rose. You can also reach them on Instagram at petals from a black rose. If you need further assistance, you can email them at petalsfromabblackrose@gmail.com. Thank you, Jerome. Thank you, Lachelle. Thank you, Petals from a Black Rose. I thank you both, and I will continue to support you. Next up, we got a nice smooth piece of music by a producer I highlighted on the blog about a year and a half ago. His name is
Boonie Mayfield.
Once again, y'all, that was Boonie Mayfield. He teamed up with another producer by the name of T. Mos, and they call that Son of a Preacher. Next, I want to get into Racine McGee's new book, So Frail 2, Toxic Femininity. I'm telling you all now, this book is amazing so far. I haven't got into it like I usually do with the pen, pad, notes, sticky notes, and whiteboard, but I will do here in the future. But I read enough of it so I can give you guys a little sneak peek at what I found so far. In one chapter titled Daddy's Maybe, Initial Effeminization, it says, for example, a son can have an innate affinity for chemistry. He can easily balance chemical equations and understand how molecules can be manipulated to change one substance to another. In his attempt to understand why he has this affinity, he crosses paths with an OG who shows him how to turn cocaine into crack. As negative as the details are, the principles are still chemistry to the core. This is just one of the ways that racing has shown me how he taps into the mind and gets your wheels turning. For those of you who have never had to deal with crack, this could be extended to drugs like prescription meds, heroin, crystal methamphetamines, and other drugs that are now making its way onto our streets and neighborhoods. The concept is still the same. I can't tell you how much Mr. McGee's book has made an impact on my life. Though we as black men go through a lot of things that trigger our emotions, Racine calmly presents the information and leaves it up to you to process it all. The questions he asks will demand answers. Trust me, at some point, integrity is going to force you to answer those questions with your own truths. His books are available on BookBaby, Barnes & Nobles, and Amazon. You can follow Racine at Instagram at _just_scene, spelled CINE_, or you can go to his link tree, which is titled _just_scene, CINE_. Today's health tip is going to be brought to you over the sounds of Tony Mack in this track he called EMMG T2. Today's health tip is about walking that mile. If you follow our blog, we spoke on walking that mile. As we get older, we tend to want to walk less and we find excuses not to. We'll complain about everything such as time, weather, you name it. We got an excuse for it. However, at 40 years old, I got to tell you, there are some major benefits that come with walking regularly. Walking improves cardiovascular health, blood circulation, works multiple muscle groups, nerves, and joints. There is also the added benefit of improving your mental health. When you're driving, you're mostly concerned with driving safely. If a distraction comes at the wrong time, the consequences can be deadly. We strive to bring you at least one post a day with relevant information, but I digress. Walking is one of the most important things you can do in life. There are a lot of older people who chose not to walk as much in their youth and they're now paying for it by way of joint pain, muscle cramps, and other health issues. Don't be that man or woman. Get up, stretch, and take that walk. Don't park so close to the store entrance if it's safe enough to do so. Take the stairs. Walk to the corner store as opposed to driving. Walk it out. It won't hurt if you're healthy enough to do so. Today's money tip is a book called Debt Free Living by Anna Newell Jones. I must admit this book is something I bought when I was sleeping in my car and at rock bottom. It was a cold winter at the time, but this book warmed up that engine. I followed a lot of her advice and began to save way more money than I ever had. It is not a cure for your bad habits, rather a spotlight that helps you examine those habits through the lens of a woman that learned her lessons the hard way. In her book on page 27, she says, "When I did the spending fast, I hit rock bottom, and I was desperate enough to make the needed sacrifices. Giving up eating out and going to the movies, among other things, seemed like the least I could do to have a new life. And it turns out that those things quickly lost the appeal they once had as soon as I was committed to my plan." I can't recommend this book enough. Again, the title is called The Spender's Guide to Debt-Free Living by Ann Newell Jones, available at your favorite bookstores and possibly your local library. It's been a great second episode, y'all. I appreciate you all stopping by. I do hope you enjoyed the music. If you did enjoy the music, please take time to support these artists. Also, thank you, Racine, for the incredible book series, So Frail, especially by the looks of it, So Frail 2, Toxic Femininity. I can't wait to compare and contrast the things I find between the two titles. Also, everybody check out Hitting It Raw, which has, by the way, helped me lose 35 pounds. Something else we will be speaking on in the next few episodes. Also, I want to thank Jerome and Lachelle over at Petals from a Black Rose for the opportunity to speak on their company and their products. Go to Petals from a Black Rose on Instagram or go to Petals from a Black Rose on Etsy.com. Thank you to the Instagram family. I also want to thank life for the lessons I've learned and the wisdom I can now share to everybody. Thank you all for listening. This is Mr. Christopher, aka Knowledge Rise for Nerdboxer Media.
Good evening. We appreciate you, Brother Christopher, the man behind Nerdboxer and Knowledge Rise. This is Jerome, the Chief Operations Officer and co-owner of Petals from a Black Rose. We are a small, independent bath, body, and beauty company from Cleveland, Ohio. We specialize in handcrafted soaps, lotions, body mousse, lip balms, beard conditioners. We have 100% soy wax melts for your candle warmers. We are even the distributors of candle warmers. We have specialized spiritual products as well. Please feel free to follow on Instagram at Petals from a Black Rose. That's no underscore. Petals from a Black Rose on Facebook. And we can be found at Etsy.com. Petals from a Black Rose is a greener life distributor. We are the science of skincare. Thank you. Peace and blessings.